Mm. Good afternoon, all of us.
Good afternoon.
Great. Is mwalimu here audible ama mwalimu anaongea peke yake?
Tunakupata.
Great. So we're starting in a few. I know it was an impromptu kind of an invitation. So maybe help mwalimu to share with your friends. Help mwalimu to share with your friends kindly so that you can start all together. Yeah. Help mwalimu to share with your friends so that you can start all together. It will be a very, very interesting conversation. So the target is like 40 or 1 hour. So you can help mwalimu to share with all with your friends as you're starting. As you're starting. So you can help mwalimu to share with all your friends as you're starting. So also for the aspect of time, I'll wish to start this conversation. And it's just about career talk, yeah. And at this point, I'll be very, I'm going to be informal as well as formal. So mkisikia mwalimu akiongea na Kiswahili pia you understand, yeah. I'll be formal and also I'll be informal in terms of this conversation. So first of all, I want to take this chance to appreciate you for finding time and joining this candid conversation. This conversation today, I want us to talk more about, of course, our career. I know probably majority that they join, probably you are in line of finance, and also we've taken also chance to invite the parents and students who cleared their Form 4 just the other day. And we have a candid conversation about what is the next path after probably you think maybe you hadn't passed the exams well. So we start with the ongoing students, yeah? Kasneb students. How many of us have always heard about TAPEF? How many of us have heard about TAPEF? For those who are joining via YouTube, or for those who are joining via Zoom link, I just want to get to understand, first of all, those who are ongoing students, Kasneb students, how many of us have heard about TAPEF? By show of hand or just a chat? Maneno unamisikia about TAPEF, which is okay. TAPEF. Haraka nijue, mwalimu is collecting a sample here. Agri amesikia about TAPEF. Agri amesikia about TAPEF. Let me get to know how many of us. So far we have like 2 people. They've heard about TAPEF. Agri, maybe ukituambia, what do you know about TAPEF? Ama what idea have you had about TAPEF? Agri, if you're in a position, maybe you can unmute and chat with us. Ama Mane pia amesikia about TAPEF. So Agri, what have you heard about TAPEF? Agri, what have you heard about TAPEF? Probably Mane pia. Mane, you can also talk to us. And anyone else who have heard about TAPEF?
It's a sort of program yenye ISPAC ime collide na Kasneb to help the accountants to gain more practical knowledge. So from my knowledge, TAPEF ukiingia hapo, you're supposed to be assigned a supervisor who is going to guide you in the world of accountancy and finance and tax.
That's fun. Anything else about TAPEF that you heard? That is, I agree with you. That is a part of what you gain under TAPEF. Probably anything else you've heard about the same? Mane? You have a very good insight about the same. Mane ametuambia about supervisors, whereby you get supervisors, which I agree. Probably anything else you've heard about that. Agri, I'm not sure if at all Agri is in a position where he can chat with us or where he can talk with us. Pia Agri ametuambia is that about TAPEF. Agree, what have you heard about TAPEF? Maybe unless you're in a position, unajua pia najua kuna wengine wako job, yeah? Na huwezi taka mdosi ajue you're attending such a session. Yeah? So agree if at all you're in such a position, you can just chat. I know some of us have, you're stealing your boss's time, so you can have a chat with us. Agree? Call on your batemia mdosi, you can chat. You can chat. So at this point, I know like how many of us then have not about TAPEF? How many of us is your first time getting to know or is your first time hearing about TAPEF? By show of hands, be honest and be frank with yourself. By show of hands, how many of us probably is your first time you're getting to hear about TAPEF? Yeah? By show of hands. Yeah, be honest with yourself, yeah? So that Molimu here would be able to assist. Be honest with yourself. If at all is your first time you're hearing about TAPEF, then you can just raise your hand and Molimu here will be able to assist. Great. I understand that it's so unfortunate that majority of the students who are ongoing, these are Kasneb students, they have not heard about TAPEF. So TAPEF, just as Mane has told us, you'll find that ideally we're looking at trainee accountants, yeah, practical experience framework. This is what TAPEF entails. Trainee accountants, practical experience framework. So what does TAPEF does? You'll find that previously you get a student who has done CPA, alafu add on top of that, this student also has a degree, right? Meaning that in terms of education, this person is sorted out. But when it comes to experience, that's where the issue has always been. You find a student who has done both, of course, he has all the qualification in terms of he has cleared the CPA. This student has also cleared the degree. But when it comes to skills and when it comes to experience, you realize that this student actually is quite green. In a sense that they cannot perform, of course, various tasks in the organization. And these are where TAPEF will come in play. So what TAPEF does, you realize that you are a student, yeah? Being a student, either you are starting your CPA journey, either you're starting your ATD journey, you are just starting. And at this point, this is the best time where you can join this program. By the way, it's purely for free. This is a program that has been organized by East Park and Kasneb. So how does TAPEF works? TAPEF, you'll find that as a practitioner or as a member of East Park, they are supervisors, which in this case we normally call them mentors. I'm going to show you how to go about that. So as mentors, in this case, you as a student ongoing or a student who has a cleared CPA, you get to choose a person who is going to hold your hands. You're going to choose a person who is going to hold your hands. I'm going to explain this in details when you read about a person who is going to hold your hands. Because imagine, and at times is always very unfortunate. I think I've always talked about this for so many times. I get a chance. I have clients. I get a chance from my client. A client will ask CPA Aringo, kindly nataka assistant accountant in my office, or CPA nataka accountant in my office. Because you are in that field, can you look for an accountant for us? What I'm going to do, of course, I'm going to share this with my friends. I'm going to share this with some of probably my students. And in this case, you know, like, in this case, we're looking at referral. I need to refer you to a place where I'm also earning. See, because he's my client. So for me to sanitize everything, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to invite you in my office, whereby I have to engage you. So through this process of engagement, probably it's even an entry-level position. But this entry-level position, I am expecting you to be having knowledge, not experience. I'm expecting you to be having knowledge, not skills. Because you want this entry level position so that you can gain experience and gain skills. That is the reason why you also want this position. But here comes, maybe nimeita say like maybe nimeita Sharon hapo ama nimeita labda nimeita Kevo hapo, yeah. Kevo and Brayo, these are the most common names, yeah. And don't associate Kevo and Brayo, they normally tend to associate the names with. So anyway, so nimeita Kevin hapo ama nimeita Brayo, we're having a conversation. Having this conversation, I'm expecting Kevin to be having knowledge. So I asked Kevin a very simple knowledge question about, say, like double entry. I asked Kevo, or maybe ask Sharon, that my client has purchased a computer. Can you tell me how we are going to account for this entry? Alafu at that point, unaanza kukuna kichwa. Yeah, unaanza kuna kichwa. Probably because what you've been doing, you just been studying to pass exams. Ushapita that exam, ukienda the next level, unafomata akili. Unaanza vitu zingine. So that's a very bad approach. So in this case, by the time we are through this interview, I'll realize that at this point, you don't have even the knowledge that at least I have expected you to have earned throughout your course. I understand you don't have skills, yes. I understand you don't have experience, which is okay, but I am expecting you to be having the knowledge. See, so first of all, I'll want to start by correcting majority of the students with the perception that they normally tend to have about wacha nifanye tu kupita mtihani. Passing exams is very okay, and that is what we are looking at, but also doing the best that you can do to earn the knowledge is also the most important thing. So number one, in this case, this is just a challenge to us, yeah. Najua mnasemanga accountants ulipwa peanuts. Yeah. That is the fact, and it is outside there to the point that a union was formed, which is very okay. But the challenge that Molimu will challenge us is this. At this point, you are applied for a position. This position, in this case, I'm not saying that it affects all students or maybe all candidates. You are applied for a position. I appreciate you have your CPA. I appreciate you have your degree. In this case, the position probably I've applied, or the position is paying, say, like 80,000 or maybe 70,000 or so, right? This is what the position is paying. But maybe it's not even me. You've gone to another interviewer, right? So on this end, what you realize is that the interview panel, and also I'll create time to guide you on how you should always tend to answer questions on the interview. So in this case, you are on an interview. The panel of interviewers, they ask you a question, a very simple question, just the way I was saying. You can be asked a knowledge question. Then in this case, maybe you're being asked like, okay, the company is here, they are depreciating a specific asset. Say maybe they are depreciating, say like a non-current asset, or maybe say they are depreciating, say any other form of asset. Then you're being asked, okay, what is the double entry for that? How will you account for that? Or maybe you're asked, how do you treat withholding taxes? Imagine that position in terms of education, you are qualified. But at this point, I'm asking you a very practical question, knowledge which I'm expecting you at least to have earned, but you cannot answer this question. Imagine you've quoted 80,000 or 70,000. I'll be frank with you. This person, you'll be looking at it in a point whereby, if at all this candidate doesn't have the knowledge itself, what will the team do? The team will have to train this person. And this is a resource that the organization is using. Number one, the team will also spend a lot of time to make sure that you get the knowledge fast. That is also an expense to the company. You know what you're going to say? You've quoted 80. For me, I'm going to go down up to 20,000. simply siko baya, but I just want you to start like getting the knowledge that you could have earned while in college. So I'll be like, you've quoted 80, my final offer is 25,000 or maybe 20,000, just a stipend to help you maneuver here and there. At that point, you'd be like, kwa nini accountants wanalipwa peanuts? Accountants are being paid peanuts. It is because, number one, of that training process. Majority, they are there just to pass exams. Watasema ati tutafanya nini? Tutalan kwa job environment. But even getting that chance to go to that job environment, how will you go about it? So my appeal to us, we can literally eliminate this fact that we normally tend to say, more so this young generation accountants, that of course you hear about middle-sized companies, that accountants are being paid peanuts. It will start with you. Yourself, first of all, have you earned the knowledge? Yes, you might not be having the skills and experience, but do you have the knowledge? We start from there. If at all I call you for an interview right now, I don't ask you an experienced question. I ask you a knowledge-based question for you to get this position. Are you able to answer me? This is a challenge that I am throwing to you guys. Look at it. So at this point, this is where TAPEF will come in very well. So what does TAPEF does? Personally, I have some mentees. Some of them I've been having meetings with them. I'll also be having meetings with some of my mentees first week next month. What does TAPEF does? You are an accountant, either you are a student who has done with CPA or you are a continuing student. In this case, you register free, 100% free. What you guys didn't have is simply maybe what? Knowledge or maybe information. Registration is 100% free. And I'm going to show you here. I'm going to show you right now how to go about that. I'm going to show us right now how to go about the same. See, take this chance. Go to your, if at all you can do it right now, better. How do you go about it? You see on your browser, these are, I've said it's totally for free. In your browser here, you come and we have, of course, say like, you just type TAPEF. Yeah, just type TAPEF. Once you do TAPEF, there is aspect of, we have so many tabs. Yeah, go to TAPEF training login here. See, you'll get this page appearing. Being a new student, or maybe you didn't have an account, what will you be expected to do? All you need to do here is to simply do what? Register as a TAPEF trainee. Register as a TAPEF trainee is a collaboration between Kasneb and ISPAC. Register as a TAPEF trainee. Register as a TAPEF trainee here. Fill in all your details, then you create your account. After you have created your account, what next are you going to get? In this case, let me check if at all my account is a supervisor account. But after you've done this, of course, it will take you to the next page where you will be required to select your supervisor. You will be required to select your supervisor. Currently in Kenya, we are like 500 supervisors. Out of these 500 supervisors and so on, just select one supervisor. And what will be the work of this supervisor? The work of this supervisor will be to guide you. In a sense, like I'll talk about myself, how I normally tend to do with my mentees. Say, for example, we also have a firm by the our firm is Arilin and Associates, where we deal with aspects of taxation, accounting, and all these aspects of auditing. So in this case, I have a client, or maybe I'm having an issue with a client. Say like a client is having an issue with KRA. What I do, if at all you are amongst my mentees, I normally tend to take like 2 or 3. We go with you to KRA, guiding you all the process. Like, this was the situation. this is how you're supposed to handle this. This is how you're supposed to handle this. You're literally earning the skills hands-on. See, you're literally earning the skills hands-on. You're literally earning the skills hands-on. Yeah, I know those who are asking about the topic that we're discussing. These are just a career guide. And the first item that you're talking about is all about number one. We read about Kasneb students and TAPEF, how to, of course, take advantage of TAPEF. And also later on, I'll be having discussion about career path for those who think that maybe they scored low grade in their KCC. There's also a way out. For those who are asking under the comment section, that is what you're talking about. So what Molimo was saying about the aspect of this TAPEF program, see. So on this case, once I am your supervisor, they was telling you, like, I normally tend to go with my mentees to KRA. We see how things are being done. I take you through the process. These are a situation. These are how you're supposed to handle the same. At times, I normally do trainings to some of my clients, whereby we have a finance department that we normally tend to conduct training. So in this case, I take another batch of my trainees. We go to this organization, they see how things are being done. That is one way that I normally tend to make sure that at least my trainees, they're also getting knowledge and skills. And personally, I normally tend to do this totally for free. So I understand there are also other supervisors who normally tend to charge. For me, for you to earn this knowledge by visiting clients, personally, I'm talking about as a mentor, a Ringo Frederick. Personally, I normally tend to do it for free. I know there are others who normally tend to charge. The other situation would be probably I have a number of clients. And in this case, maybe we are doing, say, like filing NSSF, we are filing SHIF, or maybe aspect of even pay your VT. In this case, I invite a batch, like 1 or 2. Come and see how we normally tend to do these things practically. You take a chance to do this aspect of filing and doing all these returns practically. In that case, you learn. The other way that I normally tend to guide my trainees, those who have been there, so in this case, I'll be taking another batch. Of course, the one that I'll be having a meeting with from next week. The other way that I normally tend to do this aspect of to empower my trainees, when I have a particular package that I'm charging, say like I'm training, say like aspect of power business intelligence, because remember that also in the roles of accounting or accountants, the roles are changing very fast. We have AI that is taking over, not per se taking over, but majority of the accountants, you should have the knowledge to complement your roles. See, AI is not going to take over, by the way. Those people who are good in AI are the ones who are going to take over. So the aspect of all this advent of majority of the things that are being done, it is not that it's going to take over, but those who are proficient with these skills are the ones who are going to take over. So the other way that I normally tend to make sure that my trainees are also hands-on, when I have these trainings, like we have trainings for power business intelligence, we have training maybe for taxation, we have training for other components which I know it will boost my trainees or rather my mentees. When I am charging, say, like 10,000, this is where I also involve other trainers because they have to be paid anyway. When we are charging, say, like 10,000, all my trainees will get a discount, a very good discount offer to attend these trainings. But going to clients, that one we normally don't tend to charge. So by the time you are through, maybe you started this for in foundation level. By the time you reach advanced level, trust you me, you won't only be having the knowledge of books, but you'll be having at least a practical knowledge and experience in relation to that. And where will that help you? Again, where will that help you? Remember, there's a reason why there is this partnership. There's a reason why there is this partnership between Kasneb and ISPAC. So once you're done with your CPAs, once you're done with your CPAs, this is where the interesting part would be. For ISPAC membership, we usually tend to have two forms, associate and full member. For ISPAC membership, we usually tend to have two, associate members and full members, assuming you have been my mentee all through the period, maybe when you are starting your CPA. By the time you are done with your CPA, you might not be required to go the associate way. Associate, you'll be required to be there for 3 years. So after 3 years is when you can register for full membership. But what if at all you've been under the program of TAPEF? The advantage would be after you're done with your CPAs, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to recommend you. This student has been my mentee through this period. I give a proof that this student has earned knowledge, experience, and skills through the time that he or she has been my mentee. You know how that will help you? You're going to escape the 3 years mark, whereby for you to be an associate. In this case, you can go ahead and register for full membership. So you save what? You save your 3 good years. Advantage again of being under a mentor on the TAPEF program. The reason why there's that aspect of what? Partnership between ISPAC and Kasneb. That is also another advantage that you guys can also take advantage of. These are just some few advantages of TAPEF. I know majority, they didn't have this knowledge. But today, you're having this knowledge. That is also, it will save you what? 3 years. What is the other advantage that you're going to earn from this point? As I've said, that the roles of accountants or accounting, they are changing very fast. I'm going to say what I normally tend to do to my mentees, whom basically I've had a meeting with them, and in this case, I've been there. What I normally tend to do whenever there is a change, like for example, right now, I don't know if at all, maybe just by a quick question, how many of us here are good in advanced Excel? Just a question, show of hands. If you believe yourself, unajiamini, unajiamini uko sawa advanced Excel. By show of hands, I'm not going to give you a test. I just want to see where your courage is. How many of us here, unajiamini, you are very good in advanced Excel? By show of hands, or by chatting, just chat there and say like, mwalimu, mimi hapa nina nini? Mimi hapa niko sawa. Mwalimu, mimi hapa niko sawa advanced Excel. By show of hands. Yeah, by show of hands. Those who are on YouTube, wale wenye wako TikTok, probably wale wenye wako Zoom, just by show of hands. Sitawapatia, I want to give you an exam. I just want to see how many of us you think you're good in. You think you're good in Excel, advanced Excel. By show of hands. Hakuna mtu mwenye anajiamini hapa. Manu huwezi niangusha hivyo. Manu umeattend classes zetu za advanced Excel. Manu pia you're not good in Excel. Yeah? Kumaanisha mwalimu wako anafanya kazi ya madini. Yeah? How many of us here are good in advanced Excel? There's something that I want to ask, and this is something that now it is being used, or rather it has been used, it is being used in a majority of the offices here around. Advanced Excel. By show of hands or a thumbs up. Ukiinua mkono sitakuuliza swali. Yeah? Ukiinua mkono sitakuuliza swali. Yeah? By show of hands. By show of hands. Okay, watu wanaogopa, right? TikTok hakuna pia mwenye ako sawa advanced Excel. Advanced Excel. Agri anasema anajiamini but hana practice poa. Agri anasema ako poa but hana practice poa. So, let me tell you, and this is a secret that I'll also be guiding you. Of course, I've always been guiding you, and I'm also going to guide you again. My good students, majority, almost everyone might be having a CPA, right? Everyone is in the journey of earning a CPA. But the question is, what will make you different from the rest? What will make you different from the rest? And this is where I normally tend to ask this question. I had my students yesterday and we were having this conversation. They were here in the office. What is the difference between a CV and a portfolio? Yes, I need to get your answers. What's the difference between a CV and a portfolio? Someone? Monet, you are muted. What is the difference between CV and a portfolio? And I tell you where you normally tend to make a lot of mistakes. Where we are right now, if at all you want to look for an opportunity in a very serious organization. Mwalimu ameweka kalamu chini. Either chat or you unmute and you have a conversation with us. What's the difference between a portfolio and a CV? I'm waiting. What's the difference between a CV and a portfolio? Someone? Mwalimu leo atatuchallenge sana. What's the difference between a portfolio and a CV? A very simple question. Portfolio shows what you have done. I agree about CV.
A portfolio.
Okay. As you told us about yes, money portfolio. Those are portfolio money.
Portfolio, in simple terms, is sort of like a website where you showcase your experience and testimonials from various individuals or companies. In simple terms, a portfolio is sort of a professional website. But a CV, a CV this become a document, sort of a document. Yes.
Okay, nice angle, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a website, by the way. It doesn't necessarily need to be a website. A good thought. Okay, before I jump maybe to the next question. Yeah, before we jump to the next question, I'm going to ask this question. How many of us do you think you have a portfolio or do you think you have a CV? How many of us do have a portfolio? How many of us do have a portfolio? Yeah, how many of us do have a portfolio? A portfolio is the actual work, yeah. How many of us do have a portfolio? Yeah. How many of us do have a portfolio? Mwalimu si anachekelea. Unajua labda naweza kuwa nauliza na probably hatujui kama tuko na portfolio ama kama tuko na CV.
Mimi niko na portfolio.
Uko na portfolio?
Yes.
Very good. If at all you have a portfolio, then you're in the right position. So these are how things are changing, and they are changing very fast, by the way. They are changing. Nani anasema sasa tujui difference. Okay, I can see someone in TikTok. Okay, there's a lot of difference, by the way. There's a lot of difference. There's a lot of difference between a portfolio and a CV. There's a lot of difference between portfolio and a CV. So in this case, you'll find that CV, when you read about CV, and this is what majority of people do have, CV basically will talk more about my education, it talk more about my maybe professional career. And in this case, maybe it will talk about probably the areas that I've worked. Simply, proof might be reference. But when you read about portfolio, and this is where the catch is, and I'm going to guide you, I think we'll be having more conversation about this later because it is a concept that I know majority they don't have. When you read about portfolio, this is where the work is. Say, for example, like as a firm, say like Aridin and Associates, the firm that we are operating. Assuming we need a tax consultant, we are not going to ask for a CV. We are going to ask for a portfolio. A portfolio will simply be a proof of the project that you've done project, remember, can be in terms of areas that you worked and all the other items. It will give us the project that you have completed. It will give us, basically, it will talk more about the actual work that you have done. If at all you talk of CPAs and aspect of all the other qualifications, maybe you're having degree, you're having CPA, they are very good, yes. But portfolio is more of the actual work. What have you done? What have you done? What have you accomplished? And in this case, again, what have you been able to gather throughout this process? I'll explain it in a very simpler manner in the next conversation, whereby a portfolio is what majority of the serious organizations, but they are looking at nowadays. CV will also be very okay. But you know, the aspect of disadvantage in CV, even for some of us today, yeah, even some of us today, majority, they don't know how to prepare CVs that will pass the ATS test very well. We'll be jumping into that. That is a whole different conversation. If at all we start right now, it might take us even like another 1 hour just to discuss about that. So where you are sitting right now, ask yourself today, if at all you get an opportunity and you're asked for a portfolio, what are you going to present? What are you going to present? Some of this conversation, I'll be having it with my mentees next week. I'll be having this conversation with my mentees next week. So ask yourself, if at all you ask about portfolio, what are you going to present? So that is another angle that you should be looking at. This is what, if at all you get a good mentor in terms of TAPEF, this is what you guys will always tend to be guided on. So it's not all about accounting and the rest. It's also about how we should perceive the way the world is, factual how the world is right now. Things have changed and things have changed. They have changed very fast. So ask yourself, what do we have? That's another angle that we should be looking at. So I worked for very informal. Okay, I can see someone here is asking. Yeah, you can be posing your questions. Some will. You can be posing your question, by the way. Someone here is asking about Molimu. Just got talk about. I worked at a very informal setting. What do I write? I'm going to guide you. I'm going to guide you that very well. I'm going to guide you. A very good question, by the way. A very good question. I'm going to guide you on that. I'm going to guide you on that. So yeah, you can be posting the questions. I'm not seeing Edu kuna mtu YouTube. Nataka swali za YouTube so that all of these students can be helped. So one mistake, of course, majority have also been doing in their CVs is about you want your CV to have a lot of maybe a lot of unapata mtu ameweka CV alafu wapo wameweka a structure ya nimeweka a table. Wewe unaweka CV yako table. Unaweka CV yako table. Yeah? Avoid hiyo. Utatafuta kazi to the point unaweza kusema your village people. Unaweka CV yako at table. Hapana. Hiyo achana nayo. Never put a table in your CV. Yeah, never put a table in your CV. I'll be having a conversation with that. So here Mwalimu was talking about TAPEF, and I've given you the advantages that you can join, or rather the advantage that you can get being a TAPEF member. And this is an information that some have been missing. I can see here like, must you be a CPA student completed to be a part? No. That's what I'm talking about. Even ATD student can be a TAPEF trainee. You don't need to have completed CPA. Even the one that you are starting, you can be a TAPEF, you can be a TAPEF member. And I've guided you on how to go about that. So I'm not sure if at all the ones in TikTok, I'm not sure if at all you can be able to view that, but I've shared a screen here. Maybe you can go. I'm going to share the link. Someone will let me to share the link on the chat about the TAPEF, how you can register and log in to be a TAPEF. So long as you're a Kasneb student, regardless of which unit or regardless of which level you are in, you are qualified to register. So TAPEF has a lot of advantages, which Mwalimu has shared with us here. That is a discussion that we were having about TAPEF. So in this case, parting shot, as we are concluding TAPEF is that TAPEF, this is a training accountants practical experience framework. It has a lot of advantages. And right now, go to your browser, just type TAPEF. The moment you type TAPEF, you go and register as a trainee. You'll get all the guide there. You'll get all the guide there. That is one angle. We'll come back to this conversation again. The next conversation that we are to have, the next conversation, the next conversation that we are going to have here will be about aspect of there are these students. Probably you might be having your brother, you might be having your sister, or maybe you might be having someone that you know. They did their KCSE just the other day, and maybe they scored a mark that they wouldn't join probably university direct. You get a person who has scored D+, alafu kuna hii perception whereby, remember when you also doing these stuff, when our friends were getting, say, like maybe D+, you get a C-, unaambiwa tufanye nini urudie. Yeah, it was very bad, probably because then we didn't have such platforms that could have given us this knowledge. And this also applies to the students who are also ongoing, students who are doing their Kasneb courses and any other course. You see, my good students, the fact is that things have changed, and things have changed completely, like 360 change. You have this person who has done aspect of maybe he or she has done KCC, and maybe they have gotten, say, like C-, C thereabout. They have not earned C+, where they can join university direct. It is not the end. Remember, KCC is just but a door that has opened to more opportunities. Let me share something with you here. So that you can be able to get it very well. Let me just share something with us here right away so that you can be able to understand it very clearly. There are various levels of which I don't know if at all you have knowledge on the same, but these are what you should know. That in this case, and the beauty part is that also it has been provided by the qualification authority. Let me try get this so I can share with us. A very interesting qualification set that will also help us a lot. There was this document here. Where was it? I just want to share with you something here so that you can be able to check it out clearly. I want to share something with us here. This will be important for us. Yeah, you can share. I'll try to share it also on the chat so that you can share with your friends, your family members, or maybe your brothers. You know, someone who had gotten probably a grade that they thought that everything was done. No. It's just the beginning. D. So what? Yeah, that is not a failure. Si hapo ndo ulikuwa umefikia. Yeah, hapo ndo ulikuwa umefikia. That is not a failure. There are so many other avenues, and that is what Mwalimu will want to share with us here. Yeah, that's what Mwalimu will want to share with us here. Let me just, why is this thing not opening? Do you know ni buy laptop ingine?
Can you talk to me to play one mirror?
Yeah. Do you know put a laptop ingine? This thing there is behaving slowly. So these is what I'm sharing with us. Yeah, maybe as Mwalimu is fetching for this, you can be sharing your questions on all the platforms that you are in. You can be sharing your questions on all the platforms that you are in. But what Mwalimu is sharing with us here, taking a lot of time, and apologies for that. But what Mwalimu is sharing with us here is that when you're done with your CPA, or rather when you're done with your KCC and you've scored, say, like C and below, there is an opportunity, a very clear path that you can reach the place whereby that person who has scored C+ and above can also reach directly. See, I believe this will be visible. Check this one out. Check this one out. Sharing this with us. Check this one out. Check this one out. Yeah. Yeah, for those who are on TikTok, kindly you can also jump to YouTube so that you can also view what I'm sharing. For those who are on TikTok, you can also jump to YouTube so that you can get what I'm also sharing. You see, this is a pathway. This is a pathway. This is a pathway. If I told you know someone who was under a grade that they thought that everything was done, we are saying that KCC is not the end. It is only the entry point. You see, it is only the entry point. There are various paths that you can take. There are various paths that you can take. Number one, we have the academic pathway. Academic pathway is whereby you have a C+ and above. You can join your bachelor's degree directly. We have the TVET pathway. Like MDarasa is also registered. It's also registered with TVET, fully accredited. This is a path here whereby those who have earned C minor, see, those who have earned C minor, there's a path where you can start with diploma. Those who have earned D, and that's why Molim was telling us, like, to earn D, it doesn't mean that you are not, that your intelligence level is low. No. Who has told you that? It doesn't mean that. It is only that it was a path, maybe that something went, maybe something happened. It's called this. So it is not the end. This is what I'm trying to tell you, that it is not the end. Say, you have a D. There are craft certificates that you can do. We have aspect of even those who have earned E. See, like, it is always very unfair. Ati mtu amepata jembe, ya? Mnaita foko jembe, ya? So mtu akipata foko jembe anaambiwa like it is the end. It is not the end. Ama unaambiwa ati rudia, you know what? Umepata grade low, we rudia upate a better grade next time. You remember you're looking at another 1 year. You're looking at another 1 year. Foko jembe see the end of everything. There's a path that you can take. This is TVETA pathway. We have, of course, other skills and industrial training pathway. I wish we could be having time. I wish we could be having time. It could have guided us deep into all these components. But there is a path. We have those who have done, of course, C+, and you want to take professional route. And the question that majority have been asking also will be very clear for those who wanted, or those who have been wishing to do CPA. Remember, this was amended. I'm not sure if I told you guys you're aware that for you to do CPA, so long as you've earned C+, it doesn't necessarily mean that maybe you've got a C+ and you have C in English, you cannot do CPA. You can just do CPA so long as your grade is what? C+. See, if I told you have at least C, you can always go ahead. There's a HD. Those who have earned below D+ thereabout, there's a CAMS as well. There's always a pathway for everything. So just a point of advice, what Molimo was mentioned here, that once we are through with all this, or regardless of the grade that your brother has gotten, regardless of the grade that your sis or your neighbor or that person that you know has, what we are saying here is that it is not the end. There is a pathway. And this applies to those who are done with your Form 4s just recently. And this one also applies for those who are in CPA or for those who are doing what? For those who are doing HD, regardless of the course that you're doing right now. There's always my belief, which I've always earned this belief, and it has always guided us in so many cases. See, when you have a grade below, let's say, pass mark for the university, it is not that you're not intelligent. See, it is not that you cannot succeed. See, it is not that you have limited or you're going to get a limited low income work. No, that is a mindset that people have been having, which I want you guys to change that mindset completely. This simply means that you did not perform probably optimally in that exam environment. Like unaweza fanya exam when mgonjwa, right? Unaweza fanya exam probably you have issues at your place. It is not like this is the end. That is perception that people should be having. So in this case, what I normally tend to ask, like, let us try to choose skills over titles. You've heard me correct. Let us try as much as possible to choose skills over titles. I know you'll ask, Mwalimu, what do you mean? Okay. As I started earlier on, where I mentioned like we have a lot of CPAs, but how many do have right skills? So when you're about choosing skills over titles, in this case, you should ask yourself, what valuable skill can you master? What valuable skill can I master? If you'll be able to get this question right, what valuable skill, regardless of either you're doing CPA, either you're doing Kasneb courses, whether you are doing any other courses, the most important question that you need to ask yourself is this: what valuable skill can you master? If, for example, and this is a challenge to us, for those who can chat on YouTube, TikTok, wherever that you can chat, whichever platform, let me ask this question to all of us. Yeah, what do you want to achieve? I need to get the answers. For example, if I may ask, let me ask, what do you want to achieve? Agri, Dorothy, Edith, kina Harid hapa, kina Mane, Mensa Uduru, when you live on a Zoom, and those who are on TikTok, YouTube, Mwalimu is asking this question. If at all somewhere someone has asked you, what do you want to achieve? What will you say, regardless of your career? I'm waiting for your answers. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? A very simple question that Mwalimu is asking. What do you want to achieve? That's a question that I need answered. Mostly for those on your YouTube, Zoom, wale on your talk about wale on your peer YouTube. What do you want to achieve? If at all I may ask that, what do you want to achieve? If I may ask that question, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? I need to get those answers. Yeah, what do you want to achieve? Or maybe let me ask a very general question. This one you don't need to answer me, or I can get some few answers. Yeah. I can get maybe some I can get some few answers from us. Assuming today you meet Uhuru Kenyatta, or assuming today you meet Jimmy Wanjigi, or assuming today you meet President Ruto, just in a very informal setup, what are you going to tell them? The people that we normally term them as elite in the society. I need a very random answer. Assuming you meet Uhuru Kenyatta today, or you meet Jimmy Wanjigi, or these elite people in the society, what is the first thing that you're going to tell them? Because mind you me, and this one I can tell you for a fact, the first 30 seconds, a maximum of 1 minute, will determine if this person will listen to you or not. So you have only 30 seconds, or you have 1 minute to get the attention of Uhuru Kenyatta, to get the attention of Jimmy Wanjigi. You are in a very informal setup. What are you going to say? I can get random answers here. I'll appreciate. Financial freedom. You want financial freedom? Okay. Interesting. What are you going to say? This is a very serious question. You've seen, like, you've met, say, like these that we normally term them as elite people in the society. Yeah. What are you going to tell? The first 30 seconds, the first 1 minute will determine if they are going to listen to you or not. What are you going to say? Just random question. Huh? Mane asema ataimba shida zake, hata kusikiza mane. Atunaimba shida zako, hawezi kusikiza. Kwani amepata watu wangapi wenye wako na mashida? Hawezi kusikiza. Hawezi. Someone. I need to get random answers. Yeah? I need to get random answers here. I need to get random answers. You can chat, yeah? Watu wanasema mashida zao. Not si mashida. You see, let me give you a secret. At times, it is not bad to invest on yourself. See, it is not bad to invest on yourself. Get time, sacrifice what you can sacrifice, or where you can meet these people. Of course, these are very nice places, yeah? Decide today you budget, you go to Marriott, or maybe go up Okimpiski, go to the areas that you think you can meet these guys. See, the best thing that you can always earn the attention of the so-called elite in the society, and this is a secret that Mwalimu is giving us. It has helped me personally, it has helped me a lot. Don't go and start saying, like, for example, maybe I am an accountant, or maybe, say, for example, I want job. Huyo mtu anakusikiza, yeah? Huyo mtu anakusikiza kabisa. Huyo mtu anakusikiza. Will not listen to you. Number one, get to relate to this person. I know you're going to ask, Mwalimu, how can I relate to the person who is a billion richer and maybe niko na labda kafao kwa account? See, that is not the way you can relate. But first of all, get to know this. Just we have so many ways, but number one, you can use a way whereby get to know or ask them a challenging question. What did they do maybe to reach where they are? That's a question that you can ask. Or maybe just ask them, like, as maybe in this case, your younger self, what will you have done that in this case you wish you never have done? Get a conversation that will make sure that you are relatable. Get a conversation that will make sure that you guys are relatable. The first 1 minute will determine if at all they are going to listen to you or not. And that is where you are going to, once they have your attention, sasa hapo ndo unaweza sema vitu zote, the one that you can do. Once you have their attention, first of all, make sure that you get their attention first. Yeah, thank you guys. 1.6K. Thank you so much. 1.6K, 1.7, yeah? 1,700 viewers, the one that are watching. Thank you so much, guys. So in this case, we're saying like, huyu anasema mwingine nilimuuliza, damn, how did you buy this Benz? Sikiza manuswali zenye unauliza. Sikiza manuswali unauliza. Huyu jamaa hata kuangalia, he won't listen to you. He won't listen to you. So the secret here is that get, yeah, a personal and professional growth. Vanessa on TikTok. Remember, that is not as much as how will you, because how many people do they have there around them that probably they are in terms of maybe in accounts or the rest? How many? So many. So first of all, before you jump to mashida zako, get something that it will be relatable with them. Uhuru Kenyatta, muulize, like, before ukuje na idea Konza City, what did you have in mind before you came up with this idea? See, kwanza hapo atakuangalia kuambie, like, atakuangalia ajiulize mtu anataka nini, ama why has he asked me this question? You see, and that is where the conversation will start. And so many other ways that you can use to first of all make sure that you are relatable with them. Siki finance, wataki pesa zako, ama wataki kupatia kazi. There are so many ways that you can do that. See, that is one way. The other question that I know you've not answered me, which you can answer yourself after this conversation, and I'm asking all of you, what will you want to achieve? What will you want to achieve? You don't need to answer me right now. That's a question that you need to ask yourself. And then, of course, try get an answer out of that. What will you want to achieve? In our next conversation, I think I'll be sharing with you that. So what are the areas that you can take advantage of, regardless of whether you are done with your KCC just the other day, regardless of whether you are in accounts? Skills number one, graphic design. It doesn't necessarily need you to be a very proficient maybe in academics. We have aspect of data analysis. The way Mwalimu is talking about here, aspect of power business intelligence and the other route of data analysis. Talk about aspect of video editing. See, these are some of the few talk about technology and digital skills that you can earn. We have the technical areas that you can also engage yourself in. We have other skills that are free outside here that you can earn. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be very intelligent for you to achieve what you want. See, so at this point, the conversation can go on and on and on. So in this case, Mwalimu is advising us, you have all that it takes. Number one, for those who had earned, of course, lower grades. I'm not terming them lower. Maybe you just didn't achieve the pass mark to go to the next level. Have this number right now. 0708 068 851. Have this number right now. 0708 068 851. Call this number. This is our office line. We'll guide you if at all you want to join your CPAs, if at all you want to do these skills that Mwalimu is talking about, the power business intelligence, the digital skills. And the beauty part is that Advantage, MDarasa is accredited with TVETA. So even if at all you're to get a certificate plus skills, you can also look for any job where you want to look for. So read this number out, 0708 068 851. Will guide you on that very well. We have so many other courses that you can take advantage of. And by the time you're through, you'll see a very big difference on your end. The other case, we also have a platform. Let me show you something here. Yeah, let me show you something. For those who have not interacted with our platform, .mdarasa.com, we have various courses there, including AI in finance. We have so many other courses. You take advantage. Today, I didn't want to talk about what we have or how you can get the same, but you take advantage. Go to our platform, app.mdarasa.com. See the courses that we have. In case of anything, the number that I've indicated there, you reach out. And Mwalimu will be here to gladly guide us on the best path that you can take, whether you are in CPA, whether you are just starting. I've talked about TAPEF. Those who wish to be my mentees in TAPEF, I've guided you. I'm going to give my number, my ISPAC number, 21648. If at all you want to be my mentee, go to TAPEF, register as a trainee, check my number 21648 or check CPA Aringo Frederick. Request for you to be, request me to be your supervisor. And make sure when you are requesting, alert me because zile Mwalimu ulenga usafi. Yeah, unapata a lot of requests hapo na mtu raja ku alert. How do you guide a person mwenye haja ku alert? You see, so ukiona nimelenga labda request yako, probably labda uko alert Mwalimu. So once you request a supervisor, you alert me and I'm going to accept you to be my mentee. So as I'm finalizing this, I need a question. We could have this conversation. I know mtasema labda ijatosha. I'm going to set more of these sessions where we'll be having a lot of this conversation. So is there any question that one will want to ask on all the platforms before maybe Mwalimu wishes us a very good evening? Questions? Someone is saying they have lost my voice on TikTok. Yeah, someone said they have lost my voice on TikTok. Any question that you want Mwalimu to answer us or to guide us? Great. So as you are planning to say the questions, you can always share more questions You can always share more questions. You can always share more questions, either on the number indicated.
There is someone who has a good question.
Mhm.
Judy, okay, the sound is back. Judy has asked you, ndio kuingia ni pesi ya kupita FM na FR.
Judy siri ya kupita FM na FR, basically these it's just a matter of you being a student who doesn't use revision keys to revise, like a form of point of reference. Yeah. Also, the other aspect of FR and FM, I think this is a whole different conversation. What I can do, Judy, reach us out, or rather you can check, there's a video that I did about the same, because it's a whole different conversation. I think I need to talk about the same. I'll talk about the same, but the secret, just a summary, Judy, the secret will be, number one, there's a mistake that a lot of students normally tend to make. Yeah, probably it's not your first time, or maybe it's not your second time doing FR and FM. Once you did this paper for the first time, you did not pass. When you went for this paper for the second time, or when you go for this paper for the second time, you'll be having a mentality that I did this paper before. Wewe utanyoroshwa tena. So if at all you're this student who is doing the paper for the second time, when you go to this paper for the second time or for the third time, assume that you've never done this paper before and you are approaching it for the first time. That will help you a lot. Number two, secret. I've always talked about revision kits. You get a student, is doing FM or is doing FR, you're doing a question, you get a challenge. While you get a challenge, your mind will tell you that you're having an answer. So what you're going to do, you're going to check the answers that have been provided. Those are also suggested solutions. So the best way will be, how will you overcome this? The best way will always be, once you are solving a question, or once you are working out a question, you get a challenge, don't go to the solutions directly. Go to your notes. Go to your notes. Try to fetch solutions from the notes, not this your revision kits. These revision kits allow them to be point of comparison and not reference. So if at all you've been a victim of this, make sure that you avoid that. The other case is that today or nowadays you realize that these papers, there is a balance of computation and theory. You have to have a very good strategy to balance the theory part and the computation part. So these are just some of the few tips that Mwalimu can share with us here, but we have so many. I think I'm going to look at that video, then I'll share here on either TikTok or whichever platform that we share. But Judy, you can also reach us out. Mwalimu will guide us further on the same. Mwalimu will guide us further on the same when we have a clear conversation on that. So, guys.
Hold on, before you finish, someone has asked you, who did Crafty Home? I've invested a little in recycling. Like, how can I attract these people to invest in my ideas?
Who did Crafty? That's a good conversation. That is a very good question you asked. So it's about this aspect that I talked about bargaining. Yeah, there's a video that I did about bargaining and positioning yourself. So I think I'll be sharing that as well. So I know you could be having a lot of questions. So right now, what you can do, you can either pose these questions on WhatsApp, and also we'll be having more of this conversation. So because of time, I know you guys can all call me Batime Abdosi. So you guys have a very nice time, and I know we are going to have more of this conversation. Thank you so much, and see you then. Thank you, appreciate you've joined 1.7 1.8 on TikTok. We had like almost almost 40 on YouTube, and here on Zoom. Really appreciate, guys, and hope to see you in our next conversation. I believe Mwalimu has shared something, and let us continue to learn. Reach us out in the Rasa.